Hey everybody! So I just wanted to do a really quick video where I went over the movies that I've seen in the month of May, and I had a pretty good month. These I'm not going to include the Captain Underpants or Wonder Woman because those technically were released in June, even though I saw them in May. And I'll just give myself something to talk about next month. And so we're going to talk about these are releases that I saw, 2017 releases, or movies I saw in the theater in the month of May. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is I finally saw Fate of the Furious in May, and I wasn't a big fan. I didn't really like it. I know that these movies are stupid and stupid fun, as often called, but this one I didn't think that it was necessarily stupid enough or fun enough. I thought it was kind of boring. There's a lot of the movie with people sitting in rooms, staring at screens. And I thought Charlize Theron was a total miss as the villain. I thought she was really boring. There's one awesome scene with Jason Statham and a baby that is almost worth it for the whole thing. But I don't know. I just was pretty underwhelmed by it. I didn't love it. So, yeah, disappointing. Then I saw Bahubali 2, the conclusion, and I rented Bahubali 1, and this was so much fun. It's a true spectacle entertainment. It's very over the top. It's very silly, but it's just great. Yeah, I loved it. It was really, really, really a new experience, something big, something. It's a spectacle. It's a total spectacle, and so I really enjoyed both of those movies. I like the music. I've already downloaded the soundtrack. I like the dance sequences, the battle sequences. It's just a lot of fun. Then I saw Personal Shopper, and this is one of my favorite movies of the year. This was tremendous. The screenplay is so good. It's so well written. It's so tight and scary and tense and emotional and everything. It does have some nudity, so it's definitely, I guess it earns its R rating. But other than that, I thought Kristen Stewart was amazing in the role. She's in basically every scene. So she really has to carry it. I thought she was great, and it's just different and thoughtful and interesting, and one of the best of the year for sure. The next movie that I saw is Casting JonBenet. This is This is a documentary about the JonBenet Ramsey murder case, and what they did is instead of having pictures of the case or real life people involved, they had actors who were auditioning to play the parts of the various characters. And this was, I think, to be some kind of commentary or just something different. And I appreciate they tried something different, but I felt like it was a little bit of a gimmick more than it was a true success. And I felt like the movie was kind of making fun of the actors, and I didn't understand why. And it just felt kind of weird to have this thing when you're talking about a little girl who was brutally murdered. It was just, so it didn't really work for me. I didn't end up liking it, but I admire the attempt. I do. To do something different. Then I saw Their Finest. This is a really fun little movie about the Dunkirk. Well, not the Dunkirk incident, but the attempt to film a movie about the Dunkirk incident. And you have, I think her name is Gemma Arterton in the lead, and Sam Claflin, who are both great chemistry in the leads, but Bill Nighy steals the show. He's so great. I could see him getting nominated for supporting actor if this was later in the year. He was so good in this role. And so yeah, it's a little slow. It took me a little bit to get into it. But once I did, I really enjoyed it. And it is a very mild R rating, in my opinion. Then I saw Gifted. I was not a fan of this movie. I think they have good intentions, but it really, really annoyed me that they set up this dichotomy of like that this girl either has to go to public school and not get a good education because it's like healthier for her socially, supposedly, or she has to go to this gifted and talented school, which is treated like some kind of prison, when in reality there's like a million different options that are available. And she had like a full scholarship to this gifted school. There's so many different places where she could have gone. And so I don't know, it just really annoyed me that they presented it like that. And anybody who's different, who wants her to go to the appropriate school is like seen as this horrible person. It reminded me of Patch Adams in the way that it annoyed me, and setting up this false dichotomy of like, you either agree with our way of doing things or you're like a horrible person. I don't know. Good acting, well intended, but it really irritated me. The messaging and everything, and I don't know, I didn't like it. Then I saw Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage, and this was supposed to be fun, and it starts out fun with this crazy action sequence where he's like skiing through the jungle, and that was enjoyable, but they just make Vin Diesel so unlikable, Xander Cage or whatever. He's very unlikable, he's a womanizer, and it's not in a charming way. If I don't know, he was just a jerk. And so there was no like suaveness or coolness or any of that. I don't know. So it didn't end up working. It was just too unpleasant, and there wasn't enough of the action to justify it, I guess. Then I saw my entire high school sinking in the sea again, this time on the big screen with two of my friends that I've developed some movie buddies, which I'm really excited about. We're having our first meeting of the Utah Movie Club on Friday, and I'm looking forward to that. So that's gonna be really fun. So we went and saw this, and it was great. It's definitely got me a little motion sickness, which I didn't get when I watched it at home, but it's definitely a really unique work of art, and it's actually really funny. We laughed a lot. It's very experimental, so it won't be for everybody, but I dug it. I thought it was cool. Then I finally saw Kedi, which is a documentary about all of these cats in Istanbul, and it sounds really boring, but it's super charming and funny, and it's really kind of about the people who have these cats. So it's on YouTube. If you have YouTube Red, you can watch it. So if you have that, go check it out. I think you'll like it. Then I saw Everything, which I thought was really charming. For a romance, for me to like a romance, I really just have to be invested in the couple and think they have good chemistry and enjoy the dialogue between the couple. And I really felt that with Everything. I thought they had great chemistry together, and it does get a little bit silly and nutty towards the end, but I was so invested in the couple, I didn't care. I enjoyed it. So there you go. Everything. I thought it was really clever the way they staged their texting and their talking on the phone. I thought that really was charming. So yeah, I liked Everything. I saw Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul, and it might be passable on cable or something like that for kids, but really not a whole lot for adults to enjoy in this one. There's so much gross out jokes, and they just got kind of old after a while. This is the only Wimpy Kid movie I've seen, so I didn't have the cast comparisons that other people had. But I thought the cast honestly was fine. I really didn't have a problem with that. But there were some weird jokes that I thought felt really out of place. Like there was this whole The Shining and not Shining. There was this whole Psycho gag sequence, shower gag sequence, which that's an R-rated film. Like, very weird to have that in the middle of your kids' film. I don't know, it's strange. And then I saw King Arthur, and King Arthur was very bad. It was just the first 30 minutes I was kind of okay with it. Like, it had some creative touches and things, but it just became like throwing everything at the screen, and it was just like visual overload for me. I often feel that way about Guy Ritchie and his movies. I'm not that big of a fan of his movies, but I just thought the story became so ridiculous, and there were so many characters, and there was so much going on, and like once there's this giant snake who becomes involved, it had really jumped the shark at that point for me. There's these giant octopus ladies who require blood oaths, and we're supposed to feel like invested in this, but like we don't know these people that are being sacrificed at all, and we don't really, we go long patches without seeing certain people. We don't really understand the magic or where it's coming from or what's the magic of the sword, or we don't really get to understand Arthur, and it's just a mess. It is a mess of a movie, and it gets into like a video game the last like 30 minutes. It's not as bad as Warcraft, but it was pretty bad. Then the last movie I saw was Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. And this was a competent, solid blockbuster. If you want to go see just something that's entertaining, but it's not like the greatest, it's not great, it's not awful. It's just like, yeah, it's okay. It had some fun action set pieces, I thought. It had, but my biggest problem with it was that I felt that the end, it started to get kind of boring when they were looking for Poseidon's trident, and then also I felt like they made Jack Sparrow too much of sort of the town drunk. Like, he's always been kind of drunk, but he was like an imbecile. Like, they removed sort of his likability, and I don't know, like, it was just harder to relate to him or feel invested in him. But I don't know, these people are saying that's like an awful movie. I don't really understand that, because to me, it was fine. It was entertaining, but it wasn't great. It wasn't awful. It was like right in the middle, in my opinion. Entertaining. I had a good time watching it, but it's not one that I'm probably going to remember that well, in a couple of months, or certainly not in a year's time, be like, oh, that was such a great movie. It was fine. So that is the movies that I saw in the month of May. And of course, I did see Captain Underpants and Wonder Woman, which I loved, but we'll talk about more about that this next month in June. The June recap. So there's a lot of good stuff going on my channel. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a special video where we talk about the year 2007 with my friend Conrado. So that will be really fun. And we're giving our top 10 lists. So it's sort of a 10-year retrospective. And then also we have the review for Doctor Who that just posted yesterday. And I'm not going to get, I don't think, any box reviews up this week. Sorry. But I will try to have some as soon as I can. And we will try to get to The Mummy sometime this week. So that should be fun. So thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.